Dozens of U.S. Air Force fighter jets, including advanced F-35 stealth fighters and battle-tested F-16s, have arrived in Greenland, drawing international attention to a region that is rapidly becoming one of the most strategic front lines in global military competition. At first glance, Greenland may seem remote, frozen, and far from global conflict. But in reality, this massive Arctic island is now at the center of growing tensions between the United States, Russia, and China. Personnel and aircraft from various U.S. Air National Guard units, including KC-135 stratotankers, F-35s, and F-16s, are being deployed to key locations in Greenland. This move is designed to test readiness levels and build stronger relationships with Danish forces through joint exercises. Greenland's strategic value is hard to overstate. Located between North America and Europe, Greenland sits directly along the shortest flight paths between the United States and Russia. This makes it a critical location for early warning systems, missile defense, air surveillance, and power projection. For decades, the U.S. military has operated from Pituffik Space Base, formerly known as Thule Air Base, which plays a vital role in. This has turned the Arctic into a new geopolitical battleground, and Greenland is right at its heart. The arrival of F-35 Lightning I stealth fighters sends a powerful message. The F-35 is not just a fighter jet, it is a flying sensor node capable of stealth penetration of contested airspace, advanced electronic warfare, data sharing with satellites, ships, and ground forces. In Arctic conditions, the F-35 excels at monitoring long-range Russian bomber routes, detecting cruise missile launches, providing early warning to NATO forces. Its stealth allows it to operate undetected, even in regions covered by Russian radar networks in the Arctic. By deploying F-35s to Greenland, the U.S. demonstrates it can project fifth-generation air power even in extreme polar environments. Alongside the F-35s, the presence of F-16 Fighting Falcons adds another layer of flexibility. While older than the F-35, the F-16 remains highly reliable, cost-effective, extremely capable in air policing and interception roles. In Greenland, F-16s are ideal for NATO air patrols, intercepting unidentified aircraft, supporting training and joint exercises. The combination of F-35s and F-16s allows the U.S. Air Force to balance high-end stealth operations with sustained day-to-day air defense missions. The United States will send military aircraft to Greenland's Pituffik Space Base as part of a scheduled defense operation, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, stated on Monday. The decision comes as diplomatic tensions with Europe rise over President Donald Trump's plans to boost U.S. dominance in the Arctic. NORAD said the aircraft would arrive shortly, and the activity represents long-term defensive cooperation between the United States, Canada, and Denmark, which oversees Greenland. The effort is meant to enable a distributed space defense mission to protect North America, it said. All supporting forces are operating with the required diplomatic clearance, NORAD stated, underlining that Denmark and Greenland had been alerted of the deployment in advance. Pituffik Space Base, originally Thule Air Force Base, is located in northwestern Greenland and plays an important part in North American defense. The facility houses critical radar and communication systems that detect missile launches and monitor aerospace activity throughout the Arctic and beyond. Pituffik, located near the Arctic Circle, serves as a strategic base for operations that monitor potential threats from other world powers such as Russia and China. The anticipated deployment will boost NORAD's ongoing air defense missions. The aircraft's deployment coincides with Denmark's increased military presence in Greenland. The Danish armed forces have sent more troops and equipment to the island, bolstering overall defense readiness and collaborating with NATO partners. Denmark and Greenland officials have proposed an Arctic NATO mission to strengthen regional defense and collective security, a notion that has gathered traction among alliance countries. Despite this cooperation, European governments have opposed any suggestion that Greenland may be given to U.S. sovereignty. The European Union is even considering economic countermeasures in reaction to threats of tariffs aimed at the region, highlighting serious concerns in Brussels about U.S. pressure methods. President Trump has repeatedly emphasized Greenland's strategic importance to U.S. military interests, citing broader concerns about competitor powers in the Arctic. The U.S. claims the aircraft deployment is normal and defense-oriented, but critics argue it contributes to escalating diplomatic tensions. European officials have flatly rejected the notion that Greenland is up for negotiation or sale. They contend that Greenland's sovereignty belongs to Denmark and its people, and that any change in power should only occur with their permission. At the same time, NATO leaders have emphasized the importance of alliance unity in the Arctic and encouraged communication to prevent escalation. Denmark's willingness to host additional NATO assets and improve defense cooperation reflects a larger commitment to maintain regional stability. The aircraft deployment to Pituffik Space Base demonstrates how seriously defense strategists take the Arctic strategic location. Along with Denmark's military actions and potential NATO efforts, the region's security dynamics are fast evolving. While the immediate focus is on anticipated defense actions, political issues about Greenland's future persist. European allies prioritize diplomacy and collective defense, whereas the U.S. prioritizes military cooperation through accords dating back to the early Cold War. Analysts believe that as major powers' interest in the Arctic develops, Greenland's status as a military and geopolitical pivot will remain vital to defense planning and diplomatic debates in the coming months.